2012. So firstly, the connectors. So those connectors, they are people who can leverage the power of networks today. These are the people who recognize they have huge customer bases of hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or even millions of customers or consumers, you might call them. But they realize that actually connecting those people together is much more powerful. And they have these free and easy and accessible technologies which they could start using. It's how you start to use them which matters most. In terms of distribution channels, how do you reach out to people who are part of a network and then can tell other people? Or how can you become part of facilitating a network to come together? The power of a network is not in terms of the number of people it has, it's in terms of what happens between the connections. It's the ability of people to talk to each other, and it's the ability of people to generate stuff, content, between each other. So if you look at the fun websites of today, if you look at the YouTubes, if you look at the Wikipedias, then they're essentially just framework sites. The people who developed them had to do nothing except create a framework which then brought people together, and people then created the content. So how could you do that in your business? What would that mean for your business? What kind of content would people be creating? And what kind of content would they be using? And adapters in times of crisis, yes, we have to adapt, but we have to adapt to something. And probably we have to adapt to where the new growth opportunities are. And where's the biggest growth opportunity in the world today? Well, it's women. So over the next 5 years, 2009 to 2014, women will be the greatest growth opportunity. So growing from $13 trillion to $18 trillion in terms of female income and potential spending power. Compare that to China, growing by 2.2 trillion, or India, growing by 0.6 trillion. So you could say Chinese women. But the point is saying, don't just think about serving the same market as we emerge out of this terrible time. Think about how markets are changing and how you can serve a different marketplace more powerfully. And then the third kind of winners in 2012, they will be the true innovators. And these will be the people who seize the opportunities of the crisis we have in terms of the environment and socially. And they say, how can we turn that, not just in terms of a compliance thing, that we have to do it to save the world for some greater good, not just in terms of a cost thing, in terms of thinking, well, maybe clean energies or other things could be cheaper than the way we do it, but as a new source of revenue and differentiation. So as we see the world changing, destroyed around us, and if we suddenly spring into action, probably in a bigger way, this is the crisis more than the financial crisis. As we watch 44 million acres of forest and 100 million acres of farmland disappearing, as we watch 15 million acres of new desert emerging, and as we use those 160 billion tons of water to make our Coke and our instant coffee, then we have to rethink